You're listening to Without a Brief, a Red Bow House podcast where we talk branding, business, visibility, identity, and the women behind the work. I'm your host, Jasmine Soteropoulos. Let's get into it.
Hello, and welcome to our podcast. Thank you for saying yes. That was a shock. And I was like, oh, that's super exciting. And we're so happy to have you here because I feel like our listeners will 100% get something that they walk away from that they didn't know before and needed to know. Like you are a powerhouse and power source of information. So, yeah.
Well, I'm excited to be here, and I just really like content. I just like yapping about content. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So tell us, what is it you do? For anyone listening that doesn't know who you are, how dare they, first of all?
How
Second
dare
of all, tell us everything.
So, I'm a content strategist. I'm not a guru. I'm not a coach. I am a content strategist, and I help people either go viral or make more sales or build their community based on what it is specifically that they need to do with social media. And I take a very marketing forward, formulaic. This is an algorithm approach. And I got into this because I was broke and had my own business and didn't understand marketing and was like, this other people are doing it and why can't I? And I did all this grunt work for many years, understanding how algorithms and things worked. And then I eventually went back to college and I got a bachelor's degree in marketing. And then, oh, wow, that's how that works. And it works. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like that's the biggest difference is what I see in your content is that you're very strategic. You've not put one piece of content that isn't informative and genuinely applicable for just your everyday person. Like you don't have a ridiculous approach where you're like, yeah, okay, well, I don't have a, I don't have a place that looks like this, or I don't look like this or feel like this, or, you're just your every girl's girl and you make your points super poignant and
thank you.
they're incredible. But in saying that, like, I guess the differentiation is strategist rather than coach. And like a lot of people are getting that ick around the label coach. So I love that you're referring to yourself as a strategist and I think it works for what you're doing. But tell us more about like how you landed on that. Like how did you get to that word? Or did you always know that you're a
Oh no,
strategist and not a coach?
it's a real role. It's a role within social media in the same way that you hire a marketer. If you have a campaign within your social media strategy, you hire a strategist. So I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes with getting lost in social media is if you hire a coach is going to coach you and they're going to like help you through things and conceptualize things and depending on what your coach is for, they're going to coach you. But if you hire a marketing agency and they coach you, you're going to be very disappointed that the ads are not running. So a strategist is not something that I so much landed on. It is just the role that I fill, which is that you come to me when you need strategy executed on your account. So
Yeah.
with social media, people who come to me through social media, I take it a little bit differently because it tends to be people who want to learn how to do it. As opposed to the corporations, they're like, we don't want to know how to do it. We want to pay you to do it. Cool. Then I will go execute that on their account. But most of the people that come to me through Instagram, they're like, I want to learn how to do it so that never in my life again do I have to hire someone else to do it for me. I want to become my own system. So for those people, I teach them how to do it. Like how to analyze your skip rate, how to analyze all of your metrics, what it means when the skip rate goes above 50%, how we bring that back, how we course correct through here. Oh, this is too long. This campaign is going to speak to people who are broke. If we want to go to people who make more money, we need to change the wording in this direction. Like it's all very formulaic. It's really what you put in is what you
Yeah.
get out. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I think there's like a very clear difference. And that's right. Like a lot of people, there is confusion because a lot of people are like, okay, I just need someone to tell me what to do. But if you don't have, and there is a place for that, and that's great. But
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of people fall into that rather than understanding that you actually need to, if you're going to DIY, you need to actually know how to read the numbers and read the system
Yeah.
and play with that. So no, it's incredible. But in saying that, we know you're awesome and your content's always informative and all this great stuff. But what about you? Like, what's your life look like outside of what you do? Because we see so much of that. I feel like I know your business side. I know who you are as a business.
My life is very non-exciting. I love thrifting. If I can get a shirt for like 10 cents, oh my God, I'm gonna do that. I was in Idaho to visit my mom who moved up there with my Oma and Opa. And there's little thrift stores up there where like the shirts will be a quarter and be like, how about a dime? And they're like, a dime if you buy two, because I still want 20 cents. I'm sold. So like I deeply, deeply enjoy being like frugal. It's not something I can really
Yeah.
explain. It makes me so happy. Like I have a Stussy shirt from the 90s that has a hole in it that's like this big. It's like I tried to wear it to the DMV the other day and my sister was like, absolutely not.
Please,
Like,
please no.
wait a second, this
No.
next
How
shirt.
dare you?
Um, and one of my really big interests is cars. So like I recently this year got one of my like absolute dream cars, something I like.
Ah,
They're really hard to find. There's only a couple hundred of them in the US, and I
oh.
finally see it in like some of my content. One little bag behind my head. I love cars. I love going to car shows. I love cheese. I'm on a current quest to like try every single type of cheese in the
Oh
world,
wow,
even the
that's a
disgusting ones.
conquest. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My my
Okay.
my life in general is not really terribly exciting. I like what I like, and I do what I do, and it's just thrifting and cheese and cars.
How would you say you found your voice then? Like, because you are very, yeah, I like what I like, and that comes across in everything you do. Like, how did you find that out or be able to kind of communicate that?
Okay, so first of all, I was homeschooled my whole entire life, and it was in like a Baptist cult kind of setting where we couldn't cut our hair or we had like no autonomy. We couldn't go to the movies. We couldn't go to the beach. We might see like some nudity. So we could only go to the beach at night when other people wouldn't be there. We couldn't watch magazines, radio, TV. That was all off the table. And that was hard. And then within that circle itself, it was always like, "Hey, you're really dumb. You better figure out how to like bake bread so you can get married." So uh, it wasn't so much from my parents necessarily. It was
Yeah.
like the community of
Yep.
it all, where it was just like, "You're stupid. You better learn how to survive and marry a rich man and be a
Mind you, it's not funny at all. Like, I'm laughing, but I'm like, I know this story.
it's
Like,
laugh
far
so
out.
that you don't cry, basically."
Exactly. Exactly.
So I had that section of it, but then when I turned 19, I married my guy friend from the church. We knew each other since we were 11, and then he died 2 years later. And then after he died, I couldn't get a job because I'd been homeschooled my whole life and nobody would hire me,
Yeah.
and I literally could not even get hired at Ross. Ross rejected me, and so did
Okay.
McDonald's. And it was
I'm
like, "Hey,
Australian, so I have no idea what Ross is, but I'm sure it's yep.
like the outlet store where shirts are $5 that like you."
Okay,
Yeah. So
we
even
get that.
Ross
Yeah.
rejected me. So basically over like in a very short amount of time, I had been kind of like dunked on, been made fun of, big gawky 5'10" giant, like, "You're dumb, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. If only you were pretty, then maybe you could marry a all this stuff." So I really just feel like I got put through the paces really quickly. And then when my
Mm.
husband died, it was like, "All right, you're broke. What are you gonna do?" And the only thing I could do was I could model. And the way I figured that out was because I was like, "You bills are due and you have no money. What are you going to do?" So I started looking for things that I could do with no education and no qualifications, and that was modeling. So I started showing up to casting calls that I was not invited to, that I was not supposed to be at. Like when I got there, people were like, "How did you find this?" And I was like, "Mind your own business." So I started finessing my way into these casting calls and getting booked for modeling jobs. I had the wrong look. I was an inch too short for some of the jobs. My measurements were 2 sizes too big, but I just kept showing up and I wore people
Yeah.
down to the point where they started hiring me.
Wow, yeah,
And then
okay. So you
I had a
always
big
had it in
break
you, like
where
one way or another, like this attitude was always in you,
it
and it
was
just
always in
needed
me
like a
because it
little
had to
window
be.
to break up. Yeah, you had no
Yeah.
choice.
And then I got criticized all through my modeling for having like the wrong look and being the wrong size and being too fat or too thin or too whatever. And it just never really stopped. So I feel like I became so much myself because of that. It's like, no matter what I do, I can't please none of you. So you know who I'm gonna please is me. So I'm so happy with myself as I am, and I feel like it's just because I kind of got put through the ringer of like
Yeah.
stupid, ugly, fat, too tall, too short, too this,
Do
too
you
that. And
feel
I was like,
like it's helped you? Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's kind of
yeah,
counterintuitive, but like it actually ends up helping
yeah.
a lot more
I've
than
already
you think
heard the
because it's
worst you can possibly
yeah,
say, and
yeah.
what's the
What are you gonna
worst
throw
that
at
it
me?
did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
So that's
yeah.
honestly, it's not a glamorous answer, but that's my answer as far as like I found my voice because it was that or be
But it's
miserable.
rarely a glamorous answer. Like that's what I found when I talk to the women that like do. Like they just do and they commit and they get shit done. Majority of the time it does come from a horrible story. Like
Yeah.
it just does. And it builds us up and I think a lot of us are like, okay, we don't want to wear that strength as a shield for the rest of
Mhm.
our lives and have to carry that. But in saying that, there's a magic that you can't get almost anywhere else. Like
Mhm.
it builds you that resilience. You can't fake it. You just can't. And yeah, it's the choicelessness that it leaves you with that makes you go all in, all out, fast,
Yeah.
fast, fast. And I kind of love that though. Like for us to be able to turn these awful stories into beautiful, flourishing businesses, families, experiences, and bring others. I think we're also a lot more able to bring others along on the ride with us and we're more open to that. Like we are here and we're happy to build and not gatekeep, which is a beautiful thing because we're like, no, we don't want anyone else to suffer that as well. Like we're here for that.
Yeah.
So how do you feel in that kind of dynamic? Like working with other women, are you super collaborative? Like how do you feel in that space?
I'm very, very collaborative with women, and I'm quick to shut up if I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I love learning from a girl who's done it bigger, badder things than me. But if I'm there for like a certain thing like strategy, then I'll go ham on it and I'll make sure it's like being done. But I think women are just so smart and cool and sexy and fun that like when I'm in a group of your thoughts, yes, amazing. And like I don't even mind when we're in a group with a girl that's like kind of shy because we're in LA, like there's a lot of women out here who kind of get like squished down and be quiet and your ideas are not good enough. So there's nothing quite as amazing as being with somebody who's like kind of like a little bit shy. And then all of us girls are kind of like, no, come on,
Yeah,
give
yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
And then like by the end of the collaborative day, she's just like just as confident as everybody else. And she's like that is just like such a spectacular thing to witness because I was that way too at times in my life where I was just like, "Nah, I can't. So,
Yeah.
like, really like rallying the troops and like, it's like we're all going together. I love that. And then on the other hand, I love being the stupidest one in the room too because if I'm in a room of women I'm the dumbest one, oh my God, I am
Yeah.
going to absorb, absorb, absorb. Like, I'm happy to be the dumb one because man, you must have done some stuff. I'm like starstruck. Anything you
No,
tell me.
absolutely. Absolutely. Like I feel I'm always, even if I do know something and I'm not certain, I'm not scared to speak up. Like I'm a speaker. I will talk your ear off. But sometimes it's like, no, I'm just awestruck. Like I love you all. I love what the fuck you're doing. You are invigorating every cell of my body and I just want to listen and that's okay too. But
Yeah.
okay, so you're saying, all right, these rooms that you're in, like how is that experience? How have you found your footing? Have you been lucky enough that people pull you into these circles and to meet more people or do you go about it like on your own?
No,
She's
so
like
I mean, I'm at my age now where I laid kind of the foundation of like having access to these rooms, but in the
Mm,
beginning I was nobody that knew nothing and I was just like trying to time swap like, hey, I'll work for free if I can come to your meeting, or I was like working as an intern for a photographer just so I could be in the room and like eavesdrop on like how sets work. I was doing all kind of grunt work in the beginning just to be exposed to it So now,
Yeah.
I've been in this space for so long that now some people, a couple people invite me,
Yeah, which
as
must be nice. But,
yeah, but
obviously you didn't start off that way. Like,
no,
yeah.
before that, it was like, you own a business. Can I come? What do I have to do to get an hour of your time to like hear what you have to say? Oh, you're a photographer. Will you teach me this? Oh, if I buy you a cup of coffee, you will? Cool. And it was like kind of trading what I did have for
Mhm.
mentorship. And then after my business became my e-commerce business became pretty successful and I had gone and gotten a bachelor's degree in marketing and I was starting to understand social media. At that point, I was able to trade better things for my time.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
you want to get some more views? Well, I'll I'll trade you that for a little bit of you tell me how you scaled up to $10 million this
Well,
year. How
yeah,
about
that'd
that?"
be nice. Thank you. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was able to,
Okay,
like,
so
negotiate better things.
well, yeah, that's the trade-offs. The trade-offs just get better and better, and that's the reality. But okay, for someone who's just starting out, right? Whether it's in whatever market it might be in, like what would you recommend? Does the grunt work still work? Like, have we skipped that? Like what's your feelings?
So I can only speak for me, being that, like I grew up in Pomona and then the high desert, didn't have a lot of money. My Oma and Opa went from Indonesia to the Netherlands to here. Like I wasn't born with a silver, gold, or a copper spoon. We had rocks.
Yeah, I was
So
spoonless, so I get
spoonless,
it.
right? No
Spoonless,
spoon,
no
no
spoons.
spoon. We're chewing on twigs. But for me, it absolutely worked. Like for me, I would do it again. There's some
Mm,
things I wish I knew better. Like I wish that I knew that I didn't have to work as a model, take my modeling money, and then finance the business. I wish I knew about cash and credit lines back then. I wish I
right.
didn't. Did I do
So you'd
everything correct?
recommend
No.
that. You'd recommend like someone, going in and actually pulling out money and doing it that way.
I mean, honestly, I think it comes down to the position that you're in your life. Like if you have a stable family and a stable network and you can pull out an SBA loan and it makes that access to capital is going to catapult your business into like
Yeah.
revenues quicker, then absolutely. But if you were like in a position where you don't have money and you don't have anything, I don't know that that's a good move. It's probably you need to go onto social media and hone your organic and try to get some
Mm,
organic money first, proof of
mhm.
concepts, prove some viability here when you're hitting like money per month, yeah, like it's not the same answer for everybody, but just for
Yeah.
me, this is what I had to do because I had limited education. I knew the Bible in Greek and Latin. Turns out people don't want to hire you for that. I had to go learn real world skills. Apparently, like baking a loaf of sourdough bread doesn't get you a job. So I had to learn real world skills. I had to grunt it out because what I was unhireable, but the people
Yeah,
are in different positions,
of course. Yeah. And what about something that I always talk about is fears in business or fears in life just that hold us back from taking that leap or taking that step. Like, did you have certain fears and how'd you overcome them? Like, what were your biggest fears? I
Yeah,
feel like maybe they were so far away, but
I absolutely had fears. I had fears that kept me boxed in at lower revenues, and then I had fears that prevented me from hiring, and I had fears that I was gonna wake up one day and lose everything. And part of what changed that, honestly, what changed that for me was mentorship. I had a client who was making just such an unholy amount of money, the hundreds of the millions of the dollars every single
the
year.
audacity money. Yeah.
The audacity money, and he had been watching me operate for a little bit of time, and, uh, it was he just was like, you are never going to get where you wanna be if you keep doing this," and I was like, "I don't know what that means," and he's like, "You live every day like you are going to lose everything," and I was like, "Valid, yes, that's very much a fear of mine. I'm worried that
Yeah.
tomorrow I will wake up and have nothing," and he was like, even if that happened, if you woke up tomorrow, your entire stock portfolio was gone, all your cars were gone, everything, your house burned down to the ground, you would still not start with nothing because you still have the education that got you to where you are now, the self-learning and everything that got you here. So that's the stupidest thing
Good
I ever heard
point.
of. And I had to hear that.
Good point.
And I was like, oh, but I had to hear that to get that. And then
Yeah.
I didn't start hitting any kind of there was no $50,000 revenue under my belt per month until I heard that. There was no $100,000 sales month until I heard that. There was no big numbers crossed through my fingers or my brains until I
Yeah.
started understanding concepts like that.
Yeah, that's powerful.
It
Because it's
really
like
was.
sometimes it takes one person to say the right thing at the right exact time and it switches something. It's like a light goes off in your head and you're just like, where was this? And even
Yeah.
if you had said it to yourself, it's like, oh, it's just a passing thought. You don't take yourself seriously enough sometimes, but it's so powerful. And I think
Hmm.
there's a lot to be said about that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and just like the compounding, to me, this was something that was like a really big deal because the first time I made $6,000 in a month, I was like, wow, that's so good. Because there was a time where I just wanted to make $4,000 a month and I thought that'd be enough. And then the first time I hit $30,000 in sales for a month, I was like, wow, I'm, I'm king of the island now. And then
Absolutely.
the numbers, they grew. And then I realized that because I didn't understand that my thinking correlated a lot to the sales. Like, I'm not discrediting the fact that like you need to be
Yeah.
doing your sales and your marketing and all these things. All these things matter. But my refusal to give up control, like for example, once we crossed around the $30,000 a month mark in one of the e-commerce businesses, I was still like packing and shipping and refusing to leave the warehouse and not going to like my niece's birthday party because I
Mm,
had this fear that like I can't afford it. Like it costs a lot of money. Like I still need to preserve. And I
mhm.
couldn't actually grasp the idea that no, you need to hire someone to pack and ship so you can have those 6 hours back in your day. So now you can go make more money for the business. That alone had to be beat out of me. I was in this
Because
like
our inner
training mode of like,
child
keep everything.
absolutely. Our inner child was programmed that way. It came from absolutely basically nothing. And so we're like when we see that, it's one thing to see it and yay, let's celebrate, raise a toast. Amazing. But to actually reprogram that part of ourselves that goes, okay, but like the only reason I'm here is because I did A, B, and C. And if I'm not doing A, B, and C, it's gone.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going, it's not,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
done. So, okay. Hiring. Speaking of hiring, is there something that like you're like, okay, well, if that person doesn't come across in a certain way or whatever, like any principles where you're like, okay, I wouldn't hire that person because whatever. Like some people won't hire others if their socials aren't even peaking enough. Like that's what the world's come to now. So
Yeah.
at what point, it's a bit of a crazy world.
No, I care more about their track record and their attitude. So obviously we're a reach agency. So all of my strategists need to have a proven track record of reach just because we charge a lot and you need to get something for your money. So that doesn't mean their socials need to be poppin' because that doesn't matter. It means that the accounts that you're touching are poppin'. So as long as they have a track record of working with people, brands, big or small companies and executing on them and really strong delivery, that's all that really matters. And then some of my strategists do have hundreds of thousands of followers, and some of them don't even have a social media
Yeah.
page, but they've worked with like mega corporations and some of the best of the best in the world. That's enough. I care more about like my interviewing process really looks like I'm going to give you some hard questions and see how you would handle that. Like
Yeah.
client account is deprioritized. They posted 1,000 times. They don't know what they're doing wrong. Bad technical skills, bad messaging. What are we doing? And I'm listening for a certain answer. And if you have that answer that only a strategist would know, cool. Next question. If you say something
Yeah.
stupid like, well, I would have them post 3 times a day, then I'm like, well, it's been nice talking to you. Goodbye.
Yes, if you're just learning from other creators that also know nothing about anything, then we're not hiring. I get that.
Yeah.
But I guess that's a big issue that I've seen is that people are putting all their eggs into baskets of big content creators.
Yeah.
And it's like that doesn't give you deliverables. Like some people, like even though I'm working on growing my socials, that's a personal choice.
Hmm.
But the next person that is a great, brand strategist or brand designer or whatever, they may have zero followers. They may not have socials at all.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean that, yeah. So I'm glad you made that point. I think a lot of people need to hear that when they're in the hiring process. It's
Yeah.
almost like like they're brainwashed, you know?
Dude, I got a good one for you. I
Tell me.
had, it was from
Tell
a
me
mentor,
everything.
of course. So I
Okay.
had was looking for hires, and this dude had the audacity. He answers all of my questions. He says, "Why would I tell you that if you're not paying me?" And the next one he says, "This doesn't feel like an interview. This feels like you're trying to get my secret information, and I'm not going to give you that." this, I can absolutely do this, but I'm not going to give you my free secret sauce. You can either get on a call with me and hire me, or I'm not going to teach you or tell you. And the questions were simple too, by the way. It was like, what do we do if we have a client that wants to start selling shoes and they've never posted before? What's the first thing you would do for their page? That's it. Very, very simple. And then another
How
one,
unhinged.
literally just basic strategy questions. And I was in no mood that day. I sent him back an email and I was like, hey, this role has already been fired. And if these are challenging questions for you, and if these are tied to your secret sauce, you is not a good fit here anyway. Like, sorry, role has been filled. And her name
Like,
is
just go do a funnel for another course and try and sell that, and good luck to you. See you later. If you've got all these juicy secrets, sell them. Sell
Yeah.
them to the masses.
Oh,
Then
and
what are
he
you
also
doing
wanted
trying
the
to
most.
apply?
He wanted the most out of everybody.
No,
He
of
wanted like
course.
several $100s an hour. And like the secret, I'm like, girl, if that is secret to you, I hate to see whatever else is in your brain.
See, this sounds horrible, but I envy that audacity
I know,
so
me
badly.
too.
I'm like, please, someone give me half,
I
a
know.
quarter. I'll take a quarter.
Just give me a
It's
triple.
wild, literally.
Like, how are you so loudly confident and stupid all at the
Yeah.
same time? But you know what?
Wow.
One of
Yeah.
my favorite quotes is like, somebody uglier and stupider than you is doing better and making money
No,
because they have
absolutely.
confidence.
No, absolutely. That kicks my ass every single time. And I'm like, no, if I was a white male, I would be killing it. Do you know who I'd be right now? Yeah, it do be like that.
It do be like
Jeez.
that.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's why we
it's
have things like this where we just have the girls and we just do the girl
exactly.
things.
Exactly. If you get it, you get it, you know? No,
Yeah.
it's lovely. Okay. All right. So my biggest thing with creating this podcast, right, is I don't want it to feel like an interview. That's my hugest thing, is because, like, there's so many things that you could possibly be doing in this time that I take from you. And the last thing I want it to be is like, oh, let's pick your brain because it's a podcast and I can do that instead of paying you for something, right? So what do you want to talk about? Like, is there a topic of discussion you're just like, I've always wanted to talk about this. I've always wanted to say this, but you're the worst person to ask because you say whatever the fuck you want. And I love that about you. But, you know?
I was gonna say, this is like, this whole thing isn't even like giving me like interview vibes at all.
Oh,
Like,
good,
this is
good.
like, I got my coffee over here. I'm like, we're just chilling.
Yeah.
Things that I would want to talk about, like, there's just so much. I'm a yapper. I'm a big
Yeah.
yapper. Ooh, I have a burner. I have a lot of burners. I have burners at all times. So I
Like
have a
burner
burner.
phone?
Yeah, like burner
Like,
accounts. Like my
okay. I'm like drug dealer accounts? Yes.
oh no.
those.
I mean, some of them no. But like one of my hobbies, one of my spare time hobbies is I love starting like fake accounts, Finstas. They're not fake, like it's actually me attached to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
But I have one where I've been like rabble rousing for like a week and like posting utter nonsense, and people from my main account found it somehow.
Delete.
So I woke up
Control Alt Delete.
and a bunch of people from the main had found it, and I was like, no. So that's my drama.
That's hilarious though. Like, what do you can you tell us like one of the embarrassing things that you posted?
Oh, okay. So like one of them is like a car page and I post like the car shows. And then one of them is like a millennial that doesn't get the current shape of the world. Like just stupid
Okay.
stuff. Where like I
But you know
basically
what? It makes you more human. Like at the end of the day, like the last thing you want to feel is disconnected because, oh, you're somebody now, right? Like I could not imagine a worse experience than like being isolated to be one thing on socials all the time. And I think it's such a healthy outlet to have that. Like that's awesome that you do that. And so
yeah,
what?
I
Some
mean,
people find you. Who cares?
it's just funny because like you know,
It's
I've been
unexpected.
saying stuff on there. Like sometimes I'm just really trying to start fights. And what the stuff I've been posting all week has really been like fight starting stuff. But
I guarantee people are going to start looking up and trying to find
that's why I'm
any.
not saying what it was. It wasn't.
Yeah, good idea. We'll keep it secret. It's fine.
But
It's
you know,
fine.
part of the reason I do this actually is because I think it would be a really terrible reflection of myself if I was constantly just posting learning content and claiming I can get you reach based on that, because we all know that educational pages grow the fastest. They just do. So that's why I make occasional like expose content and other content, and I have a pin to the top of my page so you can see that I actually can do this in other spaces outside of teaching educational content.
Yeah.
Big deal to me in my own head. Probably nobody even notices, but that's what I do. So part of the reason I do these other pages is to make sure I'm always fresh and that I'm still playing the same game the rest of the population is playing. Because very easy for me to be like, I have 220,000 followers on TikTok and you're just not posting enough. I have 87,000 followers on TikTok and you just need to. It's a different
Yeah.
game when you have an audience as opposed to not. So multiple times a month, I start brand new pages from like absolute zero and block anyone I know off of it and just continue to apply the techniques to it to see how long this current algorithm responds to something. And it's like one
See,
of my favorite things to do.
see, that's something that like happens in the background that no one would ever know that you like that's a lot of effort, right? And I think people miss how much effort it takes to get to a place that you're happy with, right? Whatever that
Yeah.
looks like, whatever that ceiling looks like, and then you break it and go through the next one. But like, is this something that's common practice, or do you find that it's something more that you do?
So no, I would say in the strategist space, it is very common. In the
Mhm.
coaching and guru space, absolutely not. Most of the people in the coaching guru space, they're coaches and gurus. But as a strategist, like we're not being paid to coach people. We're having people like Hulu and Netflix and Bravo saying like this page needs to score at least 1 million views
Yeah.
per post and have 500,000 followers on it by the next 6 months. Or
Yeah.
this boxer has a big fight coming up and this must be done on the page. Like we don't have the luxury of like playing games with it. So
There's a lot
in the
on your
strategy
shoulders,
space,
so
it's
it's not.
extremely common. You better,
Yeah.
because sometimes you're gonna get a brand from somebody's gonna say, "Hey, I want to start my gummy snack brand. We have no followers. We want 10,000 followers by the end of 6 months, and we want this much amount of revenues tied to it. Can you do it?" It's a yes or no, because
Yeah.
you trying to get paid or not. If it's outside of your
Yeah.
capabilities, don't take that job.
See, maybe that's something you should add to your interview process and then just get them to show you what they've been posting and put them on blast, like just from that one. It's like, do you have other accounts? Show me what you post. It's like,
I mean,
expose them.
really, really,
No, that's
the thing that makes strategy quite simple is like there's the technical bones in the baseline, there's make your content watchable, and then there's put the strategy on top of that, because you can
yeah,
have the most beautiful strategy in the world attached to content that looks like you filmed it out of a pregnancy test and it's not going to get any organic reach. You can have
yeah,
content that's 10 out of 10 beautiful, exquisite, and get zero reach. And we've all seen photographer pages where it's like, wow, this is so good, why don't more people follow him? I'm also not going to follow him, but he should have more followers. It's
yeah,
because there's no emotional connection to it. So the content can be beautiful and get no reach. It can be horrible and get no reach, or horrible and good. There's multiple pieces to everything.
yeah.
So
How do you feel though? Like, okay, your marketing background, is it really just socials right now that's popping off? Because I mean, I've got my thoughts and feelings about, like SEO is a huge one for me, right? I
yeah.
feel like people sleep on it all the time. Like there is just not enough education of understanding how important that still is, and everyone
Mhm.
puts all their money into socials. So what are like the other avenues that you feel like people sleep on?
Well, first of all, being that we're in an SEO algorithm, it's a non-negotiable for all of my clients that they have to learn SEO tactics just to get their content categorized to the right people. Like old
Mm.
algorithm didn't matter so much, but this is an SEO algorithm. And if you look at the type of captions and content that's performing, it is very
I've
literally,
heard you absolutely love hashtags.
oh my God.
Your favorite, right?
But SEO is such a big deal, and like the content that's working right now is the stuff that's SEO'd properly, and you can get away with a
Yeah.
lot if your SEO is done properly. But I'm not a fan of just posting on Instagram and calling it done. Like you need to control your distribution, and that means putting your content on all the places that content needs to live. It means your LinkedIn, your Pinterest, your Facebook, your Lemonade. If you do Lemonade, your that you should be distributing
All the
content on
touch
your organic.
points.
Do it.
Yeah.
And if that's overwhelming, get a reposter, a rescheduler, and have it do it for you. Whatever. Control your
Yeah.
distribution. Because let's just say your Instagram posts only get 300 views. Okay, that sucks. But now let's say that you did put it on Threads, you put it on Facebook, you put it on YouTube, you put it on TikTok, you put it on Lemonade, and you got 300 on each. Well, now you got a
Yeah.
couple thousand views for the day. Then your odds of your sales goes a whole lot higher.
Yeah.
And then I'm a big fan of ads. I really truly believe I so I don't have time for people who demonize ads. Like, I'm not interested in those conversations. Like,
But
you
I
need your
think you also
SEO,
have
you
to
need your organic,
know,
you need your ads.
have to know how to use them. I feel like a
Yeah,
lot of people go, I'm just going to DIY this with no real education. And they end up spending so much money into
yeah,
that with no return.
yeah,
And that is where the disconnect is. Like,
yeah,
you're not getting results because you don't know what the F you're doing. And it's okay to admit that. And you don't have
yeah,
to wear all the hats. And that's where we're at. Like, everything gets demonized so quickly when people actually don't understand it. It's just lack of
true.
education. Educate yourself, seek education, and
Yeah.
don't pretend you know everything.
And my big 3 for business is your organic, your SEO, and your ads. That's my non-negotiables.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm not like okay, with these things, I started these on ads
Ah.
on day 1
Mhm.
because and I keep them here because I don't know where the other one is. But, sunglasses, for example. I tried ads before I knew what I was doing, it didn't work, and I was like, "Oh, well, I guess ads don't work." And then as the education cycle gets bigger and bigger and bigger, I start understanding, "Oh, now I have enough revenues to actually invest in ads, blah, 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 blah." By the time I started this business, I was, you know, seasoned through the ringer multiple
Yes.
times. And I also knew what ads should look like and how much money I needed for it and how to turn them on properly and how to get it revved up on day 1. So with these ones, I did start the ads on day 1 and they pulled profits immediately.
So, can you
So
tell us about them? Tell
about
us
what
about
ads?
whoever's listening and doesn't know what those shoes are.
Oh, the
Yeah,
slipper.
yeah.
Um,
Are they
this,
like technically? Are they? Are we calling them slippers? That's what we
they
want to
are
call.
slippers.
Yeah, yeah,
They are slippers.
yeah.
So these were that wasn't the original product. It was a slipper brand that I took over and just I knew it was something okay, here's the difference between starting a business and not knowing what you're doing and knowing what you're doing.
Uh huh.
With the sunglasses, it was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try all these things and it take me a couple of years and I'm going to try hiring influencers and I'm going to try running ads and I'm going to try posting here, try, as opposed to with the slippers, it was I already knew my content strategy at this point. I already knew how ads worked. I already knew what type of influencers to approach and how to approach them. So starting the slippers business within the first month it had already crossed over the $10,000 mark, which to me was a pretty healthy sign
Absolutely.
on month 1. I
Mm,
was like, "That's good." And
yeah.
then, whoop,
Oh.
that my sister,
No,
she's
angry sister, very, very angry.
as opposed to the sunglasses where it took me, like, I think a year before I understood how to even make, like, $6,000 in sales.
Do you feel like
So
you had to go through that though to get to
of
this? Like,
course,
exactly. And
of
so it's
course.
not really a waste. And I think a lot of
Not
people
a
are like,
waste at
oh, the
all.
business didn't work. I'm a failure. I'm walking away. I'm never touching it again.
But I think people
And
are too harsh on themselves is the thing that
absolutely.
I think that it's easy to look at somebody who has a multi-million dollar business in year 1 and think like, what am I doing wrong? Well, you maybe aren't doing something wrong, but that person already has been through the ringer of life. I bet you anything they failed 10 times already. I bet you anything they tried e-commerce and they tried this and they tried that and they tried all these things. You're just seeing the end result of all the
Yeah.
experiences and you're just getting started. So that's really something I hate about the internet, and I hate about social media in general is, like,
Yeah.
people come on and act like, "I woke up one day and I decided to post and now I go viral all the time and I make $1,000,000 every single month." And it's like, let's
Absolutely.
talk about the fact that you have a marketing degree and you're media trained and you spend a lot of time on sets with people and you also have already tried 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 product-based businesses. Like, let's talk about that and be kinda honest about what got you here.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
won't even get into that because I bet
Yeah,
you
I mean, yeah, yeah. If you want to rile me up, that, yeah, the
I
internet's full of
flushed. I'm like,
falsities that don't, yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize. I take back everything. Yeah, no, it does, because the last thing we want to see is people not try.
Yeah,
And that's what this is doing. It's like it's allowing or making people try only for a minute and think and expect such high return straight away. And then they walk away with nothing and they're like, oh, I failed. I'm walking out.
yeah,
It's not, it doesn't work that way. And I really do feel bad. And it comes down to, again, like not being educated, at least by the right people, like just following what you see on socials and
yeah,
just trying. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
even know you could, like I said, I didn't know you could get SBA loans or cash or capital or anything. I literally like I remember when I was looking at a friend who she was married to a guy who had many, many millions, and I was like 23 at the time.
Mm.
And we were both trying to start our businesses, and I was trying to work and trying to fund and trying to pay rent and like coming up $50 short every month trying to decide inventory or rent. And I was looking at her business, which was doing so, so well off the rip. And I was
Mm.
like, she gets views. She makes money. She made $100,000 last month. Like, we're doing the same thing in my perception. We're doing
Yeah,
the
of course.
same thing, but it's not working for me. And I felt so horrible about my like I felt like such a failure. But it's because at the time I didn't understand she's selling a product that's a lot more viable. I'm trying to sell soap. I'm trying to sell soap and think people are going
Yeah,
to pay $8 for a bar of soap. She's selling these custom made garments that are like hand tailored and
yeah.
cost $90 a piece. But in my mind, I'm like, businesses. And I couldn't differentiate any of that. And I felt like garbage because I didn't understand that there's differences. And I also didn't understand like she's married and she's bankrolled, and her husband, it turned out he gave her like $1 million to start her business. So she was able to get a creative director on day one and start ads and all the design process, like all those things I didn't know. And she was a
So,
fabulous girl.
yeah,
And
yeah, that
I just didn't understand.
I'm just like, I give up. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're perfect. That's fine. It's okay. It's not my life.
I
But
thought
I
it was
think,
fair. I thought,
yeah,
like, not that I didn't like her, but I felt like it's so unfair. The world hates me. I'm doing the same things. I'm posting just like she is. Blah, 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 blah. But I just didn't know
yeah.
enough to see what the actual issues were.
So, what would be your advice when it comes to, okay, woman trying to start a business, trying to do something with her life that's not what 9 to 5, and she's selling a product? What would be your first piece of advice to her?
To stay away from vibes dealers and surround yourself with strategic thinkers, because I have noticed that men are sold strategy and women are sold hoodoo. Um,
Yeah.
Women are very often given hype for $3,000, where men are given how to measure and analyze and test and make meaningful cuts with that same $3,000.
Wow, that's a really
So,
good point.
I have been through that circus. I literally overdrafted myself one time to go to one of these particular people on the internet who is one of the biggest OGs in the entire space of content.
Okay.
Her program was like $1,200 for a day event, and I figured out a way to get there, and I overdrafted myself to do it. And in that day program, I'm not even kidding you, it was rah, and it was cocktails, and it was free notebooks for everybody. And then when it finally came down to have the actual meeting, she was literally saying, so the way to grow your social media is to go viral. And then everybody's around me going, yes, 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 yes. And she's like, so what you do is you take a post that has high odds of going viral, and then you post it. And when it goes viral, you post it again. And that is how you have a viral
Thank
social
you.
media. And everyone's, and I was like, am I stupid right now? I'm like
Am
feeling,
I on glue? What the hell is going on?
raise my hand, and I was like, I understand that. That's why I'm here. How do we make the viral content? Like, how do you make it viral? And she's looking at me like I'm the crazy one, and everyone's like looking at me
How
like I'm
dare you
like I know
question
I'm
her?
homeschooled, but I'm like that's.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
Yeah.
well, you've been on social media, you understand Instagram, yes, yes. So you know what viral content looks like, right? No. I'm sitting here like, no. And she's like, you take content that looks like viral content and then you post it. And when it goes viral, you post it again. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, how do you make the viral? Swear to, I left.
So
I
out
literally
of touch. Like, go touch grass, please.
But that is such a consistent thing in things that are sold to
Right.
women. Something
Mm,
like I'm at my big age now. I've been through this for the past 20 years at this point. Like women are sold vibes, men are sold strategy. And I
mm.
would say save your money and find powerhouse of women that will teach you strategy and execution and
How
not.
do you find them? Like, let's be real. How do you even find them? Because I
I
feel like
found
it's
them
so
by going.
saturated with BS.
So I found them by going to places like Shopify events. Shopify used to host events out here with like female founders.
Okay.
I would go to networking events. I literally would go on Eventbrite and go to like networking events for people that were like accountants. Not even like
Okay.
I would go anywhere that could get myself in front of women that actually had strategic thinking. I remember one time I was with my H&R Block woman, And she was like, she had had enough of me. But I was just probing her for things about like, how do you do accounting for your business? Because I didn't know. I was just looking for people that could actually think strategically. And it took a long time and it was hard. But I eventually ended up connecting with people that were quite a big deal in their space. And some of them became mentors, some of them became friends, but they're women who've had like hundreds of millions of dollars of exits through their companies. And that wasn't 22-year-old Kaila saying like sliding to the DMs and being like, hey, pay attention. That was like a repetition of like trying and trying and trying and trying, being around people who actually think.
Yeah. So
Because the
you've
last
always
thing I
had
want
that.
someone to do, spend $30,000 on somebody that's just going to say like, if you just commit to the energy of it all and keep posting for the next 10 years, your people will find you. That is not strategy.
Well, okay. So in saying that, right, we're obviously seeing a huge shift towards founder-led and personal branding, right? Like that's been my whole thing for the last few months of like trying to drill that into people. We really almost don't have a choice in whether we want to show up for our business or not, because like the other way is almost dead now.
Yeah.
And what would you say to someone who is just not willing to be on camera? Like they're just like,
That's
"Nope."
okay.
Mm.
That is okay. I mean, it's harder. Founder-led pages, like I'm always going to point you to like Cassie Ho, PopFlex. Like founder-led pages are easier by far. You can do faceless, and in fact, a lot of my clients do have to do faceless, especially like the Muslim women. That many of them cannot have their face on, and some of them can't even show like hands unless they're gloved. So we have to be able to approach any scenario of whether or not your face can or
Yeah.
cannot be on. Of course, the strongest angle is you being on camera and being cute with it. Of
Yeah.
course. But if you can't do that, get strong with your voiceovers, get crispy with your visuals, and learn them text hooks. You better show me what's happening behind the scenes and make it look bright and sunny. And you better learn how to be a creative director and make me some delicious
Right.
visuals.
Yeah.
Like,
But you still have to show up, right? Like it's
oh
still
yeah,
like it's some way, somehow, some form, you've got to be attached to the business. I feel like gone are the days where you could just put a product out there and just
oh
hope
yeah,
for the best. Like it's done.
yeah,
It's see you later. And a lot
yeah.
of people are still coming at it like that. And it's just like you're saying with, yep, okay, we could do faceless. It's not impossible. The same. Okay, it's not impossible. If you have a product, if you're first to market in something that people actually need, like need, no problem, you could do that. There's still a space for that, but it makes it 10 times harder when there's just oversaturation in almost every market and you're trying to be a point of difference. There is no bigger point of difference than you yourself and you, you know, like
Dude, that
you're the
is
unique.
something I'm such a big advocate for, is like your strongest leverage point and your strongest differentiator is is you. It's the way you talk, it's the way you joke, it's the things you think, it's the lived experiences that you have. That is what makes the difference. If you give 100 people all the same script, the way they deliver it is going to hit different audiences.
Absolutely.
Like the way I mean, the way I talk is not for everybody. The way I talk is for people that think like me, which is a bunch of cuckoo birds. So, but that's fine with me because that's my strongest leverage point, is attracting people that understand me. And that's how I get to connect with people like you, because, we understand each other's
Yeah.
craziness,
Yeah.
you know?
And there's just, yeah, I think I'm at a cusp now. Like when I saw your content, I'm like, oh, maybe I can be myself. Like that's genuinely how I felt. And that's why I feel so strongly towards you. No, like not fucking blowing smoke up your ass. Shut the fuck up. But anyway, but really, like, I'm just like, because I'm like, oh, okay. So my personality, like, I lead with the masculine. And I know at the end of the day, we've got to be a bit of both. And the balance is where we're trying to get to. But by nature, I'm just like, ba, 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 ba. And I'm just in your face. I'm not the quiet little girl that you're going to be like, oh, how demure. No. So seeing your content, I was just like immediately like, oh, holy shit. Like, I can talk how I want it to talk and it lands and it's amazing. But now what I'm having trouble with is translating that. Now I'm like just talking about it right now, I physically am sweating because I'm like, oh shit, like how embarrassed, like I hate that. And I feel like I started this podcast and I'm like, okay, I'm going to let myself shine on my podcast because I know in long format, I can fucking do it. And I'm like, hey, this and that. And I've got an opinion about this. But in short format, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I pause, I freeze, and it's like a 10-minute happening. And it feels so out of reach, but also I know I can do it. So I'm not going to give up. Like, I'm not ready to give up with it yet.
You should see
I'm trying.
Do you know, like all these years that I've been doing this and my drafts are still 10 minutes long and it's
Is it a millennial thing? Is that what it is? Are we
I
just
don't
too millennial for this shit? Like,
I
what
mean,
the hell?
maybe I don't know. Like I was like
Yeah.
saying repeat myself 100 times, so like stumbling on my lisp, all kinds of things. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. To hear someone like you be like, hey, that's okay too, it's really reassuring. And I'm sure probably 90% of the people listening to this are probably sitting there going, oh, no, I can't. I know that she's saying I can, but I know I can't. And just like this is the self-deprecating talk that we have with ourselves on the daily. And it's so damaging because it's like, no, you don't understand. They've just learned to be patient. They've
Yeah.
just learned, I think that's the biggest differentiator is that, like, not only can you get to your point really quickly, but that takes practice and all
Oh
that
yeah.
time that
Yes.
you don't see that. Like, it's not there for you to just be like, oh, I'm watching all her behind the scenes,
Yeah,
you know?
getting to the point really fast is honestly the most valuable skill anyone can teach themselves with social media. Like that was not easy. You know how I figured that out was I started watching the top performing content on all of the platforms with the intent to I was determined I was going to figure it out. And what I found first was that this was before I had gone back and gotten my degree or any of that. What I noticed is that every single person that had a good amount of views and comments on their videos, they were practicing less is more. Whether or not they meant to do it or not, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But saying less achieves more in social media. Like it's that old marketing
Right.
rule of like give yourself $100 for every word you can take out and keep the message the same.
Right.
So I noticed the direct correlation between like the long-windedness and the talking too much and the directness. And that was kind of
Oh.
like my first crack in the door to like becoming a content strategist someday. That was like baby me being like, what's going on
Hello?
over here?
Yeah.
So I've been exposed to that for more than 10 years. My brain has been processing get to the point faster for literally more than 10 years at this point. So
Yeah.
for some people it's new. And if it's new to you, you got to digest it and marinate and then process it and then learn it. So
Yeah.
everyone needs to give themselves more grace on social media and just like
Absolutely.
understand that it is is you a dentist? No. Then how are you going to know how to pull teeth? No. And do you feel
Yeah.
bad about that? No, because you're not a
No.
dentist. Social media is marketing. Are you a marketer? No. Then don't feel bad
No.
about it. Just learn it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a lot, very settling. And I guess my next thing I would love to know is when people come to you, right? Like, at what stage of their business should they be reaching out to someone like you? Because, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, she's unreachable. I'll never be able to hire her. Who am I to even dream? Like, at what point are people able to go,
So
okay,
just even though content strategy works across wherever, fresh start, old start, like whatever, it's just changing your marketing. The people that I find that have the best, most notable results is the ones who validate their product first. So if you have this like amazing product or amazing service and you know there's demand around it, we can like easily pop that off very, very quickly. As opposed to maybe
right,
you're selling something that's like not that exciting or there is a lot of it in the market, like shampoo, or maybe it's like you're a southern boutique that stocks a whole bunch of products and you don't have a lot of differentiators other than you are the southern boutique in that part of town.
mm,
If your differentiators are not strong, it's really really hard to get moving on social media. Not impossible, but it's going to take a lot longer, as opposed to you have something really cool. What this doesn't mean is like, oh man, I sell coffee. I can't have a social media. It's never going to grow. That's not what we're looking for,
yeah,
because coffee is cool. Every coffee page I've ever touched has gone viral because where there's differentiators within the coffee that can make it cool. Like we can talk about where it
yes,
came from, how long you roasted it, the flavor profiles, all these things are great. But the people who tend to not do well really ever on social media is like the soap sellers, the candle makers, and the people who have something that people can make at a large scale. And
right.
I want to be careful with saying that because it's not that everyone selling candles can't do well on social
No.
media. That's not it at all. You absolutely can. But it's significantly harder because you're not competing against a few candle makers. You're competing against everybody who's selling candles. And there's hundreds of millions of them, not
Yeah.
just millions.
Yeah.
So,
So start off with a strong concept product, then go into differentiating
validate it. As
yourself.
long as
Yeah.
it's like if you have it's easier for you and it's easier for me if you're in a space that has proven like the market has responded to it.
Yeah.
If you're selling pencils and you haven't sold a single one ever, we're going to be building that for like 4 months before you get a sale off of it because we got to
Because you're
figure
not
out.
magicians. Like, and I appreciate you saying that because I think a lot of people kind of put the idea in people's head that, like, oh, you could do, like, anyone can do anything. It's like, yes, you can, but it doesn't mean that your product is where it needs to be or is what it
Yeah,
is. It needs to be to get to that level that you're looking at and, aspiring to be at.
yeah,
And yeah, I guess that misinformation again is super important. And it's nice to hear someone go, okay, no, there's steps you've got to take before you can really take it off. Like
yeah. It's
yeah, sorry.
it's just brutal because there's some people that have been online for like 10 years and they're not getting any traction, and it really just does come down
Like,
to the
who's going to
fact that
tell
your
them?
product the product doesn't have enough differentiation around it. And it's not just that your social media doesn't work, your product sales are probably weak too. And oftentimes, oddly enough, people like that, they are doing things backwards. So they'll have like massive sales at the fair, like the weekend markets and stuff. They'll be like
Mhm.
doing big, crazy numbers at their markets. But then their online and their social media is horrible. And very often when we look at what they're putting on their social media, they're like, well, it's the stuff that doesn't really sell. We're hoping we can sell it online, which is opposite. It's like, wait a minute. So you're telling me this is what sells the most at the markets. You
Mhm.
sell
Mhm.
this out. You are doing, tons of, but then this is the one you want to put online. And they're like, well, yeah, we just figure, well, no, girl, like we're putting this
Yeah.
online. We're going to sell more of
That's actually
this.
shocking. Like, I can't believe people
Oh, it
think like
happens
that.
so
Like, I
much.
don't, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So much.
Because, like, yeah, you'd think the wider audience should get the good shit so you can grow and then relaunch. And, like, that's just, like, the common sense of it. But I guess again, it's the lack of education around what it looks like to do a business. Like, a lot of people, especially in the design industry, in my industry, right? A lot of people they have this image of, I'm a creative, I want to create, amazing,
Yeah.
fantastic. But being a creator and a creative and the difference between someone honing their craft in an artistic way versus in a business way is understanding what business means. And I think a lot of people lack that. And so people in my industry give the industry a lot of, I guess, bad reputation
Oh,
because
yeah.
they don't know how to get back to people straight away or within a reasonable time frame. They don't know the concept of business. And yes, everyone can start a business and everyone should at least try it once in their life, if they have a desire to, but it doesn't mean you have all the answers. It goes back to that. Like, it just
No,
like
yeah, no.
mind boggling that and I think reaching out to the right people and asking the right questions and going down that path is so important. And I encourage every single human being to just keep asking questions. The second you think you're a master, you're
You're
out of the
screwed.
game. You're done. Literally.
You're done.
Literally. Yeah.
You're done.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
God, if you ever catch me acting like I know everything, just shoot me, please, because how
Okay,
embarrassing.
done. I'll, like I said, Australian, but I'll figure out how to bring a gun from
No,
somewhere.
move it.
Yes, exactly. No, but okay. All right, let's wrap this up. I appreciate you being here so freaking much, as you've heard me say a million times on this.
I
Uh,
appreciate you being here. This was so fun. Like this was
oh,
like such
good.
a good vibe and such a just like
Yes, that's exactly. Yes, this is what I want you to feel. But no, I appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone listening will have taken something incredible out of this one way or another. And I'm just going to keep absorbing every single piece of content that you put out, as I usually do.
thank you.
No, thank you.
I don't get to do like this type of thing all that often, so I was just super
Oh,
excited to
really?
yeah. I mean, I the time zones are weird. I'm on the Pacific. Right after this, I'm going right into LA after this to be with a client. So like my
Oh,
schedule is so
there you go.
chaotic. So when I saw that you had something open that I could make, I was like, oh,
Woohoo!
because I don't
No,
know if you know, but most of the time when you get invited to something, they kind of like tell you, we have this day at this time, and you have to kind of like yes or no it. So the fact that you like
Oh.
let me go pick one, I was like, yes.
No, I mean, I should make myself available. See, this is the business side of things. It's like, no, I should make myself available for the people that I want to. If I'm asking you to come on, the least I could do is make myself Anyway, everyone's different. No judgment with judgment, but it's fine.
I mean,
Yeah, not me. We
all the
don't
time.
judge. We kind of slightly. No,
We judge
all
a little.
right. Just a little bit. No, thank you guys. Thanks for listening. Thank you everybody. And thank you for being here again.
Thank
It's been
you.
amazing. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for being here. This was Without a Brief, a Red Bow House podcast. To explore the agency, apply to be a guest, or listen to more episodes, visit redbowhouse.com.